Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about a flurry of moves that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made on their active roster. This includes the team promoting cornerback Pierre Desir from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. They waived defensive lineman Khalil Davis to make room for Pierre Desir, and they also elevated both cornerback Rashard Robinson and tight end Cody Mcelroy for their Week 4 matchup versus the Patriots. So, if you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts about all of these moves that the Buccaneers have made down in the comment section below. Let's go back to the beginning here. Let's start with the Buccaneers promoting Pierre Desir to the active 53-man roster. This isn't an elevation. Elevated only means that they revert back to the practice squad once the game is done. That's not what's happening here. Pierre Desir is on the 53-man roster to stay. Unless the Buccaneers want to change circumstances or anything like that. But given the state of the Buccaneers cornerback room right now, I think Pierre Desir might be here for a little bit of time. So Pierre Desir, he is not some guy who is fresh off the street. He is not, cold, coming into this game versus the Patriots. He's been on the Buccaneers practice squad for a couple of weeks now. He has been with the team since September 13th. That is when he signed with the Buccaneers practice squad. So he does certainly have a grasp of what's going on with the playbook, with what Todd Bowles wants to do on defense, to some level, which I think is definitely a good situation for Pierre Desir. That means he can help out. This is all because, by the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are dealing with a long list of injuries to their cornerback room. Carlton Davis is questionable for the game. I'll be talking about that in a separate video. Jamel Dean is knocked out of week number 4. He was knocked out of action in week number 3 due to a knee injury that he had sustained during the game. He is out yet again. And then also Sean Murphy-Bunting. He's been on the injured reserve since week number 1. He's also out. So right now the Buccaneers are really dealing with a lot in their cornerback room. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video to kind of give more of a picture here. But back to Desir. He is a solid veteran. He's 29 years old, has been in the league for a handful of years. He's played for a good amount of teams. He played with the Cleveland Browns. He played with the San Diego Chargers. He played with the Seattle Seahawks, the Indianapolis Colts, the New York Jets, and the Baltimore Ravens in his career. He has 8 career interceptions, including one of them being returned for a pick 6. And he should definitely figure somewhere into the rotation with guys like Ross Cockrell and D. Delaney, who will both be getting a lot more playing time, with Jamel Dean being out in week number 4. We'll get to Rashard Robinson and even Richard Sherman in a little bit here in this video. But again, if Carlton Davis is able to go, you expect Carlton Davis to be a cornerback 1, probably D. Delaney at cornerback 2, and then Ross Cockrell fitting into the nickel position. If they do want to switch some things up, maybe Pierre Desir could be that cornerback 2. Maybe he could be the nickel corner, although I don't think they would want to mess with what Ross Cockrell is doing there. So, Pierre Desir could get thrust into a pretty important role pretty early on here due to all the injuries that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are dealing with. So it is going to be something worth monitoring there. To make room for Pierre Desir, the Buccaneers have waived defensive lineman Khalil Davis, which I know may be surprising to some people, but let me kind of give some reasons here as to why Khalil Davis was the guy who was selected to be waived here. Whenever you look at the grand scheme of things of what's going on with all of the depth positions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right now as it stands, the defensive line is the healthiest, right? They have a lot of good guys there in terms of depth pieces, a lot of versatile guys too. You look at guys like Nacho, Raheem Nunez-Roches, and Steve McLennan. They could play defensive end if they needed to. Same thing with Vita Vea. So the versatility is there to increase that depth that the Buccaneers have along the defensive line. That's kind of the first reason as to why Khalil Davis may have been waived, is because they could afford to waive a guy like Khalil Davis. I know people are going to say, well, come on, he contributes on special teams. Point blank, other guys in other position groups may be contributing more on special teams. Guys like KJ Britt and Grant Stuard, so far as I've seen, have done a very nice job on special teams. Not to say that Khalil Davis has done a bad job, nothing of the sort, but still, it all matters as to how much you are contributing to the team on game day. Right now, Khalil Davis, he might not have been contributing too much, not just on defense, but also on special teams as well, which would be another reason to view him as expendable given these circumstances. And then finally, I do fully expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to try and bring back Khalil Davis. Now, he is subject to waivers, which means any of the other 31 teams in the league can claim him. That is a strong possibility, but if he is not claimed, I fully expect Khalil Davis to either A, revert back to the practice squad, or B, somehow be brought back to the 53-man roster in some capacity. I would imagine the practice squad would be a more likelier option, given what's going on right now with this Buccaneers team and all the injuries that they've been dealing with. But regardless, there's no doubt about it in my mind that the Bucs would try to bring back Khalil Davis if he is subject to clear through waivers. But that situation we will just have to wait and see. So that's kind of all the reasons as to why Khalil Davis was probably waived to make room for Pierre Desir. The need is absolutely there at that cornerback room. Whenever you boil it all down, Khalil Davis was probably one of the more expendable guys on the team, given all the health and depth at other position groups on this roster. Now let's take a look at the other couple of guys who have been elevated for the game. Rashard Robinson, the cornerback. I had talked about this earlier on in the week, how the Buccaneers could very well promote Pierre Desir to the active roster and then elevate Rashard Robinson. That has happened now. And Rashard Robinson, he has been on the Buccaneers practice squad since September 20th, so he joined a week after Pierre Desir joined the practice squad. So again, he's had about a couple of weeks here, about a week and a half, I guess, if you want to be like super technical, to go ahead and learn this playbook, which is better than nothing, man. It's absolutely better than nothing. Now, Rashard Robinson, he has played for the San Francisco 49ers, the New York Jets, the Dallas Cowboys. Now he is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Still very young, 26 years old, and he does have some history in Todd Bowles' defensive scheme back in 2017 and in 2018 when he played for the New York Jets, and he could play cornerback if you absolutely needed him to. But again, like I said earlier on in this video, I fully expect the guys to be Carlton Davis if he is fully healthy, D. Delaney, Ross Cockrell, and Pierre Desir. If Carlton Davis can't go, that's a big doomsday scenario, and a big if, but if Carlton Davis can't go, then you would probably have D. Delaney, Pierre Desir, and Ross Cockrell as your starting three corners, and then Rashard Robinson at the fourth. I know what people are going to say, well, what about Richard Sherman? The guy's been here for a couple of days. I don't care how much of a veteran you are and how smart you are. I do believe Richard Sherman's one of the smartest players in the league. It's still going to be very difficult to pick up a defense. So while he very well may be active for this game, I wouldn't expect him to get a ton of playing time. Bruce Arians even said the only way that Richard Sherman would get out there on the field is if there is even more injuries to the guys who are in that cornerback room right now. And at the end of the day, regardless of how good Sherman can be, if he doesn't know the playbook, it's going to be difficult. Right now as it stands, D. Delaney, Ross Cockrell, they both know the playbook very, very well. Pierre Desir knows the playbook a little bit better than a guy like Rashard Robinson, and Rashard Robinson knows the playbook a little bit better than a guy like Richard Sherman. So just kind of taking a look at that, Sherman's probably on the bottom of the totem pole in terms of guys to look to for playing time. So just kind of keep that in mind whenever you're watching the game. Finally, Cody Mcelroy, he was with the Buccaneers throughout the offseason and was part of the Bucs' final 53-man roster cuts. He has been on the practice squad since the start of the season, and it does give the Buccaneers another guy that they can use who knows the offense at the tight end position. So now going into this game, you're going to have Cam Brate, you're going to have O.J. Howard, and you're going to have Cody Mcelroy suiting up in that tight end room. Again, I still expect a lot of usage of Cam Brate and O.J. Howard, but maybe they'll sprinkle in Cody Mcelroy for a play or two come game day. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I know it was a flurry of moves to talk about. Hopefully I was able to explain all of it in a pretty streamlined way, pretty straightforward way, and give me your guys' thoughts on all of these moves that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made down in the comments section below. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.